Hey, good evening, everybody. It's me, Lynn Rene MacDonald, and tonight is Friday. I think is it January 20th or January 21st? Okay, January 21st, and we are doing our second medical intuitive show, 6 and 12 medical intuitive with Lynn Rene MacDonald. It's kind of crazy night tonight because they called for like 10 inches of snow. We have a couple people here. We have Steve and Madeline. Jennifer and my associate Ray, we're all here tonight. Hopefully you guys will be tuning in and coming on and asking your questions. 6 and 12 medical intuitive. So tonight is about asking questions about your health, your friend's health, the person who crossed over, what did they cross over or pass away from, both the metaphysical reasons as well as earth world reasons, solutions for your best health care, what's going to help and assist you to truly be well, whether it's mentally, physically, spiritually, and in all ways. That's what this show is about, to help and assist and understand, help you understand and get the best tools from higher knowing, wisdom, God, love, the stars, astrology, and all the formulas of God or love in the purest form, Christ consciousness. And we're coming to you live today from the Institute for Christ Consciousness. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I see you all guys on there. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. It's kind of a snow day here. They hyped it out and made it sound like there's going to be 10 inches. We'll see what happens in the morning, but it's kind of, the last 2 days have been snowy on and off, but nothing's really accumulated, has it? I don't really see it. Like, it's the worst part of the storm is kind of now, but it's like fine little snow, but I'm not feeling it. You know what I mean? And that's what we do and teach. You feel it in your heart and you just kind of know, you know what I mean? Right? Just like when you feel like you're really sick or whatever and you're like, yeah, do I need to go to the doctors or not? Or what do I need to do for this so I feel better? You just know. Like, you know when it's a medical emergency. You know by how it what? Feels in your heart, right? So this whole show is based on intuitive, okay? It's based on talking to God, love, energy, from the purest form of love inside of myself and working with God, a love, universe, wisdom to get you the answers. And we all have these gifts and we are governed by how things feel, our intuitive gifts, our inner knowing. And this is how we know the truth of God. Just like with all that has happened with COVID, from the very beginning, how does it feel in my heart? How does everything feel with everything that's gone down since 2019 to present day now, right? How does it feel in your heart? What is the God's honest truth? Ask and you shall receive. This is what we do and teach. We also work with all the tools of God, be it numerology, messages from universe and earth world, as well as astrology, right? And listening to all of our guides, our guidance, our higher knowing, our hearts, right? And listening for the answers. Ask and you shall receive, okay? So that's what we do and teach. Tonight is our Friday night show, Medical Intuitive, 6 and 12 Medical Intuitive with me, right? Live here from the Institute for Christ Consciousness and the Copper Dragon. And because it is stormy tonight, we don't have excessive amount of people or a lot of people here tonight, but it's all good. I'm glad you all came. Looks like we got a lot of people here. So if you could, get your questions ready and we'll get you the best solutions. And you can ask about anything at all that has to do with medicine or medical, or, you know, why somebody crossed over, or what is the metaphysical reason for this? How can we change this energetically? Or do we need solutions for everything? A little bit of earth world solutions, a little bit of traditional medicine, a little bit of metaphysical, because the truth is everything medical, right? Everything health is metaphysical. Okay. All right. So this is our show tonight, every Friday night, 7:15. Please tune in. You can donate on Venmo, PayPal, or send donations here, however you like. You know, I don't usually tell people to send cash in the mail, but ask God what to do. You can also, right, or ask universe, ask love, what's the best thing to do. You can also send checks as well, whatever you feel in your heart, to help support our work and share our stuff so that people can get the best assistance they need in a crazy world where everything's falling apart. And that's why we're doing this show, and that's why we're also do our other show, which is Live Talk Forum with me, Lynn Rene MacDonald, here on Facebook, and live where everybody can call in as well. And that's Sunday nights at 7:15. Our goal is to do it then, and hopefully you guys got your questions, and we're going to get the answers from love in the purest form. And thank you, God, for that for us. Okay, any questions out there? And hi, everybody, and thank you for coming. Oh, my new scarf. You like it, guys? My new scarf is compliments, a gift from Laura Mirabili and her mom. Thank you so much. It's so beautiful. I love it. And it's like gigantic. It's like super. Oh, I got my ring caught in there. What else is new, right? But it's super, super, super long, right? I've been like asking universe for a long scarf, right? So it goes like way down to my legs and past my legs and like down by my ankles. It's super cool. Anyway, so thank you, Laura and your mom. You also gave me some other beautiful gifts that were super rocking, and thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's start. All right, what do we got?
Well, actually, first we have Jessie May. She wrote in saying, "Hi, Lynn, I love you. Just had to tell you that Jada is doing well and continuing to heal her body. As always, thank you for your continued love and guidance, my friend."
Oh, God bless you. God bless you, Jada. And Jessie May. I had to think and put my head together there for a minute. I'm glad you're doing good. Last week, Jessie May asked me some questions about her dog, Jada, and Jada is doing better, as Jessie just said, and that's awesome. Thank you. And it's always great because I want to know when you guys get great results from what it is we teach. Sometimes it takes longer, or the solutions that universe guides us to share with you, right? Whenever you can, because it lets people know that what we teach is truth of God or love, and it's to help people, okay? So thanks, Jessie May, for sharing and letting people know. Thank you. Okay, who's next? Are you doing questions too, Jen, or is it Ray? Or
Ray's doing them.
Ray's doing questions today. All right, so go ahead, Ray.
Danielle Taman has a few questions. Her
Okay.
first question is that you had told her that there's a possibility of her getting sick in the next few months. Is there something or anything forming in her now, and what can she do to prevent sickness?
Well, the first thing you can do, Danielle, is you're focusing on things that are going to create you to be sick, right? The propensity, when we start, if we say to somebody, oh, there's a percentage of you being sick, or there's a possibility of that coming in, and it's in the stars, and it's to guide you to something else, right? And then we take it out of context with our toxic unwellnesses, our habits, patterns, beliefs, then we tend to head ourselves in that direction, right? So it's kind of like, let me give you an example. My daughter, one of my daughter's names is Madeline, and when she was little, she was 4 years old, right? And at the age of 4, she got a mysterious illness, right? And this is really wild because the illness that she ended up with, I knew she was really sick. I didn't know what the hell it was, right? And this is, again, years ago, because Madeline is now like 20. I was always on the path, but I wasn't at this space of God at all at that time, but I'm always on the journey, right? For my best well-being and my greatest life, okay? So what happened, though, that has reference to what you are telling me, you ready, is this is all about fear. The more we project out there and are afraid of getting sick, and this is also why people get the shot, the COVID-19 shot. They're so fucking afraid from all the hype, from propaganda all over the place out there, and they freak out and they think, oh my God, they're going to die, and it plays on their fears of death and dying and being sick, and if they don't get the shot, they could be even sicker, and then what happens, and oh my God, and they're fucking freaking out. This is intellectual. This is an energy that comes from your air signs, right? Your air aspects in your soul is your freak out, anxiety, massive fear factor, right? All your air stuff. Now they can be intertwined, of course, with your emotional, and the rest of that is all of you, right? But the propensity of this, and many of you air signs, Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius, you start to think and you get all wild and you fuel it with that emotion, and oh my God, that's how you get OCD and all this other crazy shit, right? Because you're freaking out about everything, and in your mind you create it to be this bizarre thing, and you can't stop thinking about it, and you get yourself all fucking crazy, right? Well, for years, right, before I even had my kids, I was absolutely fuck obsessed with, right, salmonella, and getting salmonella poisoning from chicken. I had all these fucking issues with that. Since then, I've cleared it all out, right? But lo and behold, right, there was still a propensity when my child was 4 years old. And guess what? My kid ended up in the hospital with salmonella poisoning. And I created that from the energy that was left over and residual when I used to freak myself out with my mind thinking before I did all the clearing and finished up all the metaphysical work, right? Or did the work on this with universe, God, or love to heal this, clear this out in me, this fear, this anxiety, this stuff. And what happened? I created it. And at the time I was like, holy shit, I knew she was sick. The doctors, we took her to like the CHKD hospital. They tried to tell me it was pneumonia. I'm like, there's no fucking way this is pneumonia. You know, she's not coughing. She doesn't have any of this other shit that pneumonia would normally present itself with. So remember that, guys. Pay attention to, in Earth World, to the symptoms. If the doctors and the people that you're going to are telling you that the symptoms are this, and they're not lining up, they're not the symptoms that you or your child or whoever it is having, you have to say to yourself, you know, it doesn't present as that in Earth World. There is something more going on in here. Yes, pneumonia is going to have a fever, but usually it comes with coughing, you know, excess labored breathing, lower oxygen levels in your blood, right? When they do all these crazy tests. Am I not right, Steve? Yeah, see, Steve even agrees, and he's really excellent at science, right? And many other blessings. Steve is a master healer, and we're so blessed to have him on our team. We really are. Okay, this said, so what happens is, you know, none of these things match up, and my heart's going, no fucking way, right? But I listened to the doctors. We did what they told us to do. I'm like, okay, I'll play the benefit of the doubt, right? Every day, my kid's ears would turn fire engine red. Fire engine fucking red. At 3-4 years old, she lost like 5 pounds in 3 days. Her fever would go up to 105. I would whale her in the tub, do everything that God told me intuitively, right? To get her fever down, right? And then like 4 or 5 hours later, by like midnight, it would drop. But it wouldn't go away. It would only drop to like 102. And then the next fucking day at 4 o'clock, the same shit would happen, right? I called the pediatrician because back in this day, the doctors of traditional medicine were different, right? They were different in Earth World, and they were more reliable and a totally different space of God within themselves and in Earth World in their systems. More of a Capricornian, try to do your best to do the right thing governed by integrity, honor, respect, right? And what has happened is, now that we are in the age of Pisces, medicine has gone even more berserk, and so is everything else, because Neptune in Pisces is bringing us disillusionment, no boundaries, no logic, right? That's why Candace Owen does so great right now, because she teaches critical thinking. Nobody fucking thinks any kind of any decent today. And then they employ it with their emotions, and they're fucking righteous on top of that with their toxic unwellness, right? This is what we got going on in the world, right? So in the old world medicine days, when my child was 4, right, I knew in my heart it wasn't right. I kept telling them they were sick. I wasn't at this level of God, but I'm on the path, and I know what I feel in my heart is the truth, right? I know, just like you fucking know. Just like when you have an emergency, you're like I'll say to God, I'll be like, do I have to go to the hospital? What do I feel? What do I need? And I'll know right away. Yep, go. Nope, don't need to go, right? Your heart, your soul, talking to God, talking to love, talking to universe, tells you these things. So what happens? The reason I'm telling you this, Danielle, is because my fears created my 4-year-old daughter to get salmonella, right? So the more I send that energy into that, I create that out here in physical Earth World, right? So my poor baby lost 5 pounds, ended up in the hospital for 3 days. They were trying to tell me it was pneumonia. It wasn't pneumonia. I kept telling them that, you know, and at the risk of being kind of gross, right? But the bottom line is, when you have salmonella, usually you'll pass blood, right? And being a woman, we all are familiar with blood, right? Okay, and our menstrual cycles, right? So we know when something is not spaghetti sauce or something is blood or not, right? Because we have an innate knowing within our physical bodies and our systems, right? So I have to get a little graphic here, but truth is what it is, and you have to know these things because we have to be wise and use these tools every day so that we can get to our best health, right? Just like when people ask me about stool samples and things like that, I'm like, hey, what kind of poop you making? What's coming out? What color is it? How's your stomach feeling, right? All of these things are information, as tough as nobody likes to talk about it, and we get emotional with our bodily functions, or we're immature with it. This is just all stuff to clear out when we are not comfortable talking about it. But it's super important to get to the bottom of the truth of what's really going on with us, both in Earth world, so we can understand and put the pieces together and talk to universe and get all the answers from love. So, going back to my daughter, right? She's passing blood. They're telling me it's tomato sauce. I'm like, it's like tablespoons. And I'm like, there's no way this is tomato sauce. I'm like, you're fucking crazy, right? So, what happens? We end up in the hospital. She goes, I think it was Virginia Beach General. She's in the hospital for 3 days, and they finally tell me that she has salmonella, right? And what's crazy about that, and then this is a traditional thing that they get out of hand with as well, too, especially nowadays more than ever, is they blame the parents, right? They have no idea what's going on. They have no idea why they got it. The health people in Virginia Beach call me up. I forget what the name of the organization, and they're like, why did your kid get this? Well, my kid goes to childcare, and my kid goes to school, and I'm not there to micromanage everything my kid ate right here in Earth world. But instantly, these people want to condemn you, right? Yeah, it's a fucked up world. And even then, it's like that, right? So how do you avoid shit like that on top of all this other stress where I'm worried about my kid, right? What do? You pray on it. You ask God for the best outcome. You ask God for the best solutions. And when somebody starts convicting you of shit that you fucking gave your kid raw chicken, or how did you not take care of your kid? How did your kid get salmonella? Well, like, it's your fucking fault, consciously, right? Like, you deliberately did this. Will you please come on and be real? This is the crazy shit that is happening and has happened, right? And it's even worse now than it's ever been before, because people don't have boundaries. They don't work with God. They don't come from love, right? So with your question, Danielle, the more you become fearful, clear out those fears. Ask love to be free of this. Ask love to be healthy as can be. Ask love that you address and are aware of your health and connected and have boundaries in the healthiest, best way, and all the gifts and tools from love that you need for your best health and to take care of you, so that you know what's going on. Free from fear. Free from toxic and free from creating this. Because a person or somebody like me says that there's something about you getting sick. A lot of times we get sick and it's a small sickness, and it's about transformation, right? A virus, for example, like the flu, right, is more often than not because we're not being heard. We're not being heard. Or when we have a stomach virus and we're throwing up massively, where are we not able to stomach what's going on in us? Right? These are all things. And then on top of that, where are we not being heard? Because it's a virus, right? Viruses, right, tend to come from because we feel we are not being heard, or we are not hearing ourselves, or nobody is hearing us, and we are not able to get people to listen to us, right? So everything physical is metaphysical. So I'm telling you this, Danielle, and I'm going to ask God to free you from these fears in all of us. All energy that is all of this emotional energy tied up in it, and all that is all this, clear, heal, and change all of this and release it in our souls and what we are, be, say, do, and create, and all that it is. So we're free of creating sicknesses and unwellness and things out of fear, right? And any fears, as we say this prayer, right? Words and thoughts create, emotions create. And as we do this work, it starts to release instantly. So this work is happening in you, Danielle, and this is going to be going away in you, right? And if there's more fears tied into it that have to do with other things and that are all wrapped up in the layers that is your soul, the positive, healthy things, as well as the toxic things, whatever needs to be addressed, created, both in earth world and created consciously and metaphysically by your soul, will happen, as well as clearing out the stuff that is toxic for your soul will start to release it emotionally and in all ways. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Incredible stuff. So my daughter Madeline, thank God, is fine. And we are super blessed that she is fine. But it was funny because I was like, why the fuck did this happen to me, right? And then I realized that all my life I had this OCD type fear that, oh my God, my kid was going to be sick. And I remembered that. And it wasn't about my kid. It was just that I was afraid that I was going to get salmonella, or what's that other thing if you eat like hamburger meat or E. coli. What are you afraid of, Rachel?
When I was little, it was mad cow disease.
Rachel's talking about mad cow disease, right? Same kind of thing. And we hear all these stories and we go, right? Same thing. And that's why so many people run to the COVID-19 shot. What if I get COVID-19? What if I die? You know what? We're all going to fucking die. This makes no sense at all. At some point, we're all going to die, right? And it's not COVID-19 that's going to kill you necessarily. It's your bullshit. Or you chose this path and you're going to pick it out. Your soul is on a subconscious level, and sometimes consciously you will know about this, when you're going to cross over. So it makes no sense to make yourself fucking crazy about this shit, don't you think? Yeah, and then we spend hours with mad cow disease, E. coli, salmonella, and we get the fear on, especially if we're intellectual, right? We have a lot of air sign in us. It's like, fuck, right? So when this shit happens, this is what's happening with you, Danielle. So like I said to you, as we've talked over time, the more you work on these fears and all these fears and things, as I've told many of you and all of you in the work that I do and teach, and I'm feeling like we're definitely going to start working on doing some clearings and getting rid of these energies that are the habits and patterns based in astrology that will come up in your transit and your solar return chart. Those are your now charts that are really good guidance in the now to take a look at so you can work on healing you. Okay, in the now, right? Because the now is so important. The now is how I am feeling now, right? So you come in with a bunch of stuff that can manifest, but remember, your now is a great way to lead you to these avenues of what's really going on. So what happened with Malin basically is I realized later on, and it took me a while to put it all together, right, that my fears of salmonella for my whole fucking life and being crazy with it created it to come into my life. It didn't mean necessarily that I would get it. It meant that, right, that it didn't mean anything but the energy created it, anything necessarily, but the energy created it to put salmonella somewhere in my life. And that's what happened with my daughter. My fears created that, right? Same thing. If I'm afraid of strokes and I'm afraid of cardiovascular events and shit like that happening, yeah, it could happen to me, but it might happen to my brother. It might happen to my uncle. You know, it could be an aneurysm. It could be that. But you will bring that energy into your reality. Ask love to be free of it. Ask love to release it, right? This is one of the greatest things you could do instantly when you think of these thoughts and you go, because when you start to go, it's triggering you, and that means you're afraid of it, or you have unwellness and energy that is toxic in you that starts to manifest it, right? Okay, medical intuitive stuff, that's what this is, to help you be well, all kinds, okay? Okay, who's next? Thanks, Danielle.
Wendy wrote in, "Hey Lynn, I have been feeling very sick since last Thursday and feel worse today. Running a high fever and now feeling so weird in my head. Is this mess COVID or the flu? It has truly knocked me on my ass. I've been praying all week for God to please release this sickness from me."
Whoa, did everyone hear that? Rachel, you got a voice that's even bigger today. Good job. Good job. All right, Wendy. I know you're really sick, and we've had this like flu thing for like 2 weeks, and a lot of people are probably not going to like what I'm going to say, but I'm going to tell you the truth. All right? The God's honest truth, not society's truth, not earth world truth, not the truth that necessarily anybody's going to like, but I don't give a fuck about that. If I feel this in my heart and God speaks to me or love speaks to me and tell me this is the truth, this is what this is. All of us here have had the flu. All of us. Steve, Madeline, Jennifer, me, Rachel, right? And we all got it like consecutively. Boom, 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 boom. And no offense to Nikki Opera, but I feel like her and Nicholas bought it to us. We talked about that in that one show, Not to Come, right? And then this gets good, people. Because what happens is we all get this flu and it's like 2 weeks. And I'm sorry, Wendy, that you're getting this flu thing because we all got it. And it's super contagious. That's one of the things that you know about the flu. It's maddening contagious, like nothing else. COVID, if you have the traditional whatever form or way to say this is the best, God, thank you for that for me. Real COVID is not this contagious. Is first of all, okay? But the systems and the lies that are so intertwined with the whole idea of COVID, the shots, the Omicron, the number 574 COVID, COVID-19, COVID-23, COVID-360. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, it's so ridiculous, along with everything else, the convoluted, no boundaries, Pisces shit of we're right because we say we're right, and you just do what we tell you to do. Oh my God, stop. No integrity, no honor, no respect, no Capricorn. Stop. Capricorn is the ruler of Earth World Karma. It's coming for them. It's coming. So, that said, Wendy, what you have is a flu, and you can get tested for COVID. But I will tell you this, I would not waste my time with the tests because the tests have their own form of more toxic, just like shot shedding and just like everything to do with COVID. It's toxic. It's fucking toxic. I don't care what people say. I know in my heart this is designed to kill us and destroy our immune system. Why? Because they're all fucked up, and really this is darkness. Let's be honest here. All right? And the darkness has just become overwhelming, and now all the systems in the earth world are a hot mess. So for our best health, we have to be aware of these things, right? We have to really know what the truth is. And if you don't believe what I'm saying here, ask God yourself. What are the answers that you get? And if you get, well, I don't know, well, that's an answer, right? Ask God to clarify. Ask God to clear your shit about not believing what's the God's honest truth is. Not what Lynn says. God, what's the God's honest truth about all this is going on? Is there really shot shedding? Do I really have COVID? Are these tests really working? Does the shot even really fucking work? Is it really destroying my immune system? Don't fucking believe what I say. Ask God. Ask God. Right? Ask, and you shall receive. You think I made that shit up? Oh, yes, I did. Yeah, no. It's a great formula, though. It's been here since day one, from the beginning of time, right? The beginning of time. So, you don't have COVID, Wendy. Even if you get a test, you're going to put more poisons into your body, and you're not going to feel good for even longer, and it will affect you into the future. The more COVID tests, the more shots you get, the more toxic and destroyed your immune system becomes. And not to mention things like plastics and chemicals and preservatives and garbage. And just like today, I was wilding today because they threw that fucking green salt in front of all of my shop. And now I got the salt that I got to get off the pets, and it comes in on the carpet, and that shit is toxic. It's like more and more and more fucking toxic. They don't tell us they're going to do that. They just do it. Because why? Because they're afraid of lawsuits for them, and they don't care about your health. Fuck no. So it's up to you to care about your health. So the bottom line is you can test for COVID. In fact, one of my clients who just left got the same stuff that I'm talking about, this what I call the crud, right? Went and tested for COVID, and the test came back positive, right? So now he can't fly overseas, and he's got to stay here for a while, and that's a story for another day. But what's funny is it's this same fucking flu thing. If we all went and tested for it, we'd all probably come up with it. Right? Not because we have it, because it's bullshit. Because it's bullshit. Doesn't mean there isn't a COVID sickness out there that they didn't create, the jackasses, right? It just means that, right? This is not the truth of what's going on here in its entirety, right? I had another guy, one of my people from Florida. I'm just going to give you his first name, Jake. He's fucking awesome, right? He's a little wild man. That's why I love him. I love wild people. I am fucking wild, right? I mean, I gotta be to do this work, right? We all gotta be if we're going to be free and we're going to be happy and we're going to be well, because who's going to put up, who's going to do what it takes for us? Who's going to do that, right? For our best health. If we don't have the passion and the wild ability to do it, right? So, going back to my associate Jake, he said to me, oh, he went to Florida or California, and he said to me, it was so funny because I had to cancel an appointment with him. I said, hey, man, I'm really sick, or my daughter's really sick, and I said, she's got some kind of flu shit, and he goes, oh yeah, it's COVID. I tested for it. It came back as COVID. He goes, all of the flu shit is coming back as COVID. Now, whether that's true or not, right? It's God literally telling me and validating what I already know in my heart is that these tests don't work. Sometimes they're going to test positive. Sometimes they're not. They're really a bunch of toxic shit. Right? And it doesn't mean that all of us who got the shot and are doing the things or want to change our minds about the COVID-19 and the getting more shots or the shot shedding or the tests, right? You follow your heart and ask God what to do, and you can still be well. How? Start working with God. Start working with love. Start doing things to detox you, okay? In the healthiest, best way. You don't know what those are? Ask God that you do. And these are all things you can always PM me about, and that we will probably talk about when we have more time on the show, provided our show doesn't get shut off. But got to do what you got to do in your heart. If you can't live truly who you are, then what the fuck is the sense in living? Right? If you can't be well, what is the fucking sense in living? There isn't any. There isn't any. That said, Wendy, my friend, so that's universe validating to me through Jake that if we all went to get the COVID shot, and that other client of mine who went and got the COVID test, rather, Jake got the COVID test, my other associate got the COVID test, right? And meanwhile, they had the same fucking virus shit that we got going on, which is a flu, right? And the test comes back on both of these people as having COVID, right? So they have to go back for another test, right? And don't be surprised if you find it's inconclusive, right? But this is all the grand plan of the toxic that's going on in the world. But that said, Wendy, you don't have COVID. Stay home and get well. Take care of yourself. Build up your immune system. Watch what you eat, right? Because things like dairy, right, is going to create more mucus. Dairy products and milks and stuff like that is going to create more mucus. Wheats, and mucus and inflammation from the dairy products. But wheats, pastas, processed foods, more chemicals, all of that stuff is going to create more inflammation, and it's just going to take longer to get it out of your system. Use essential oils. All right. If you do not have any of these things, right, PM me and I will tell you what to use. You can use Thieves. It's antiviral, right? I'll tell you how to use that. You can use peppermint for the stomach if you're nauseous, vomiting, have diarrhea, some kind of weirdo yellow shit comes with this for like 2 weeks. Horrible. Not horrible, but yucky stuff, toxic, because you're sick, right? So this comes in with that. Let me see, everything from some throat issues, from really bizarre pains, right? So if you can't breathe and you're coughing, this is also what comes in with this, right? So you can put that Thieves, a mixture of it with light olive oil or light coconut oil or light almond oil, right? You can mix that, in a cup like this, but I suggest you use glass, right? Not plastic, because it will eat into the plastic, right? You can make a mixture of it. What I'm picking up from Universe is about 23 drops for you, Wendy. You could use 23 to 27. Fill it up with the oil to here. Put 23 drops in there, a nice size mason jar like that. Stir it up. Put it on the bottom of your feet 5 times a day. Rub it on your chest, right? But test it on your skin, on your hand, and make sure to totally validate so you're comfortable that you're not allergic to it in any way. And always ask God if this is best for you. Ask love, is this what you should do? All right? And then rub it on your back. Rub it on your neck and the back here. Put your hair up in a little bun and get some rest. Stay warm. Heating pads will help you get warmer through this fever as well. But do this 5 times a day, right? If your stomach is acting up, then you're going to take, same thing, a cup like this with peppermint oil. 17 drops comes in for you, right? It's different for everybody because we are uniquely different. But as a general rule, it's usually 17 to 23 to 27 drops of whatever oil we're going to mix, and we're using it topically, okay, for the peppermint and for the Thieves. But one of the things that we also do is we will put drops of Thieves for about 2 weeks in a little, what do you call those pills? A plastic veggie cap, right? So you can put the little drops of the veggie caps of Thieves and or oregano in them, depending on what you got going on at different times, right? And you can research all of this stuff. In fact, I advise you all to, so you're comfortable with what I'm telling you. And always talk to God. Is this what's best for me, right? So Wendy, you will clean this up in about 5 days. In 3 days, you'll feel incredibly better. If not, through the first 1 to 2 days. If you do all these things, drink also alkaline water, all right? And any of you have this same shit going on because it's going around, right? I would also drink a decent amount of water, get rest, right? Don't overextend yourself. So that's pretty much all the stuff that comes in for you right now, God. If there's anything else that comes in for Wendy and all of us who have this flu crap, don't get the tests. Like I said, you know what test. It doesn't, because really, does it matter? Right? If it's going to say yes or no, what are they going to do? Then they quarantine you. They make you stay home for longer. It's not going to make you any better. Is it going to make you feel better if you know what they say that you have? And how do you even know what they say that you have is really what you have? right, is the God's honest truth of what you have, right? This is about having to have a name for this so we can give it an identity. So in some cases, maybe that will make us feel better about being well, but a lot of times what people do is they take that identity of the illness and they attach it to them. Now, my name is Lynn that has rheumatoid arthritis, or my name is Lynn that has this, and then the sickness becomes us, right? And then it's even harder to get rid of. So let's ask God to be free of that energy and all emotional stuff that has to do with that. Release it, clear it, heal it, change it. Let us be free of it now, please, from love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality. Thank you for these gifts in our souls and who we are, be, say, do, and create, and all that it is in the best way for us to know something better. And thank you, God, for that for us. Okay. That said, girl, you be on your way. Also, what comes in for you is some nice teas. Hibiscus peach. Now, I know that you're taking other earth world traditional medicines, right? But this hibiscus peach that we sell here in our shopping center as well. You can order it from us too if you guys are interested. It's the fucking bomb, right? We put a little bit of honey in that, and honey is antibacterial, right? Certain honeys are better than others, like, what is it, Manuka honey, and a certain, what did they call it? Is it what kind of factor is it?
There's UMF, I believe, and then there's another grading system.
Okay, there's a couple different grading systems with that, which are great for bacterial infections, right? A lot of times we get a virus and then we turns into a bacterial sinus shit going on, right? That's another reason why oregano would be really good with that too, right? So the oil mixtures that I told you about, Wendy and everybody, they are topical, right? But you can also do veggie caps. But I don't think you have to do both of these. I would pick one or the other. And I feel like what is best for you right now, Wendy, is the topical, and the other things that I said I wouldn't do the veggie caps for now, because there's something about your stomach being upset and having agita, like it comes up and it comes up. So oregano and thieves taken orally in these capsules a lot of times will aggravate that, especially if you can't drink like a milk or a dairy product or eat with it. And with this shit, man, when we had it, we barely ate anything. I think I probably lost about 10 pounds, which is good health-wise in some ways, right? To help me be healthier and not carry excess weight, right? In some ways, but that's not the traditional way. We don't want to lose weight from getting sick. That's not the goal here, overall. So that's what comes in for you, Wendy. A cup of this would be great, but watch or be aware with your blood pressure medicine if you are going to take the hibiscus peach tea, because it is a natural. It helps to alkalinize your circulatory system. It helps with your lymphatic system, and it also helps you to lower your blood pressure and release excessive water. Like people take water pills, right? A lot of times when they have high blood pressure. But you don't want to take a natural product that does the same thing as a medicine without being aware of how much you're doing and what you're doing, because you have to have a healthy balance. If you do, just like any kind of drug, whether it's natural or traditional medicine, right? You want to be sure that you're not taking too much of any one thing, right? So if you're taking your high blood pressure medicine, right, you want to separate it from this. So if you take one in the morning, maybe you take your tea in the evening, right? So this helps you to be able to utilize these nice gifts from the tea, as well as, be aware of what you're doing. And always, right, for medical advice, right, what universe guides me to is talk to your doctor especially if you're not comfortable. I'm being guided to tell you, always talk to your doctor, because there's the freaks out there that say, oh, Lynn, you're no doctor. Lynn, you can't do this. Lynn, get the fuck off my show. Really, get the fuck off my show. Right? Because really, we're here to help people. You have to talk to God. You have to know and do what's in your heart. And, go to your doctor. I'm not telling you shouldn't. If you feel you should go to your doctor, if you need advice from your doctor, please do. Research it. Cover your bases. It's about you being your health advocate, not me. You. Ultimately, I'm not responsible for any of the choices that you make here. It's up to you, right? I'm just giving you the tools that Universe God Love teaches me to share with you, that I instill and do myself with everything that I do with my work, if I am guided to by God or love, okay? So it's up to you guys to make sure that these things are safe for you by asking God, asking Universe. If you're not comfortable with this channel and what we do, then by all means, you make the choices and be guided by your doctor or wherever you need to go from love for your best health care, okay? So, that said, let's move on with the next question. Wendy, if you need me to write the mixtures down or PM me, and we'll go from there, all right? Thank you.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Casey Marie wrote in that her dad has COVID and she's wondering how he is going to do with this. He is tough but has a lot of health issues prior to catching COVID, but she feels like he is tough.
He is tough, but do the same thing, Casey, that I just told Wendy. Put that fucking thieves on his feet and on his chest if you ain't doing anything else, especially on, like, topical. You don't want to mix it with Bengay. You know what I'm saying? Like, Bengay is a traditional earth realm medicine where, you know, is it Bengay and, Vicks. Vicks as well. They use Vicks or Bengay or something like that to release, you know, the Vicks vapor stuff, you know, or Bengay for muscle pain, right? You don't want to mix these with the essential oils. So put that fucking thieves mixture, 17 to 23 drops. And because your dad's immune system is a little, I don't want to say tanked, but it's more lower right now with all the shit that he's going on. So what they're telling me is 23 drops for him in one of these, and then, you know, put it on his feet. Rub it on the bottom of your feet, people. Right here. Bottom feet, right? My feet might be blue from these boots, but put it on the bottom of your foot, your whole sole. Put on a pair of socks, and those are your new shoes to walk around the house in. Sleep with it on your feet, right? Do it 5 times a day. And this will only help him because it's an antiviral. But the thieves on your chest, right? Here, if he's having a hard time breathing, all over his back as well, topically, right? I would start here because I feel like he's on other medicines too, but this is really going to give him that kick and edge that he needs to get over this or get through this. It's going to be a while though. If he hasn't had it, I feel like it's going to be a good 2 to 3 weeks before he really kicks this. All right? And also the same guidance I gave to Wendy for him. In other words, when I say the same guidance, I'm talking about this with diet, right? I'm saying don't eat breads, pastas, wheats, processed food, more chemicals, chemical stuff, the more whole and natural vitamins or vegetables, fruit, such as blueberries and raspberries, right? All that any kind of fruit is going to increase his immune system. And the less, fast food, anything like that, nothing like that, right? To have him drink alkaline water as well. All these things will help him kick that edge there where the normal guy wouldn't necessarily fare through it so well. I do feel he's going to get through it. Right now it's 23%, but if he does all these things that I'm telling you to do or telling you to guide him to do, advice from higher knowing from love, and only if he feels it and wants to do it himself, he must make these choices, right? The percentage of him getting well goes from 23% to 57%. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, so who's next?
Teresa Courtney Lloyd is asking if you see any health issues with her.
Oh, Teresa, I think we talked about this last week. We talked about the metaphysical. Like my uncle, God bless him, who is still battling with the heart stuff because New York City is where his heart is all intertwined, and he's in love with New York City, and New York City is dying with all the stuff that's going on, and it will not be for years till in Capricorn's earth world for it to regroup and get back to an amazing space. So his heart being all tied up in that, let me just see, because New York City is the love of his life, like traveling and people and living, right, and doing what he loves, and it's all tied up in New York City, and because of this his heart is failing, right? This is about you keep on doing what you love. If you don't know what that is, you ask God what it is. You can also, there's some certain points in your chart, in your astrological chart that guide you to the answers that you can't necessarily see consciously in your soul with this. So what is that? Okay, your part of fortune. Take a look at your part of fortune. Take a look at your north node, your south node, your vertex, your 10th house, right? And your 4th house. They go together, okay? So what does this mean? All these things are great avenues to look into to get the stories of the things that you love to do, as well as dive more into these answers, as well as your first and your second and your third house, and your fourth and your fifth and your sixth. That's the lower half of your chart. That tells you those are basically your more personal houses, and then the top half of your chart are the houses that are out here, so to speak. So that said, those 6 houses are your more personal stuff. So you'll find a lot of your demons, but your demons can be anywhere and everywhere. But the first placements that I gave you, those first 4 or 5, the vertex, the north node, the south node, and the vertex, north node, south node, part of fortune. All of these placements are going to give you insights and avenues. Like Google them, read about them, right? Don't just do one, right? Do like 4 or 5. Do them on different days when you feel called to it, because these are going to give you avenues of where your best life is, right? Your part of fortune is designed to say where your heart is, where it leads you to for your best career, grand design of most your soul's journey, the best way to make money through the happiness of following your heart and your soul's passion, as well as be happy across the board. So your part of fortune leads you to that space in you. To give you an example, my part of fortune is in Pisces, right? I believe in some charts it's in my 2nd house, in some it's on the 3rd. It's like right in between. All right. But my part of fortune is in Pisces. And the part of fortune in Pisces is all about doing spiritual work. That's where your best money and your best destiny is going to come from. For me, right? You could have a part of fortune in Capricorn. You could have a part of fortune in Gemini. You could have a part of fortune in Sagittarius, right? In Aquarius, right? It's the sign that it's in, and then it's the house. So you want to look up these things in 4 or 5 different areas, because your chart will guide you to places that you necessarily can't consciously see, right? That is the story of your soul. So when I say, Teresa, it behooves you to be in your heart so that you keep your health up. Well, you're like, well, fuck, I think I'm in my heart. I think I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, right? Subconsciously, consciously, as far as I'm aware of, right? But if we give you these avenues to look up in your natal chart, your subconscious chart, and these are all things we're going to go into and explore on either this show or in other shows that we're going to do, as well as the talk forum here too. Because if nobody teaches us these cool ass things, right, we're never really going to be well. We don't have the doorways to get to the discoveries and the understanding intellectually and here in written word and earth world, so that we can move forward and have these things in a way that we can understand them, where it balances both earth world and metaphysical. So while you're saying, well, I don't know what to do, just like my uncle, I know this, right? And his soul knows on a subconscious level what's making him sick, but I'm giving you these placements so you can explore these things, as well as the 10th house and the 4th house, because 4th house is your soul, it's your family, it's your mother, it's your emotions, it's your stability, it is your grounding, right? And it's opposite the 10th house. Your 10th house is career. What is your career? What do you love to do? What are you supposed to do, right? Supposed to do meaning you're not supposed to do anything, but your soul signed up for this journey of whatever it feels like doing from love, and its destiny for its greatest growth, being in your heart, living your greatest life. The more we are in tune, excuse me, with our highest heart self, our passion, right? My wild passion, the more I'm in tune with that space in me, the more I'm going on that destiny, the healthier life I'm going to lead across the board, because I am honoring me, I am respecting me, and I came in here to do that. If I choose to, let's say, like in the old days, as I was trying to figure it out, I was a cashier, I was a bartender, I went to art college, I'm still an artist, right? Because creatives are your spiritual people. That's the very one big first sign to know anybody creative is tapping into channeling of God and love and light, and they have a propensity to get spirituality across the board before, let's say, people who aren't the same kind of creative, right? But that's one of those signs. If you see somebody who's an artist, a musician, and they're really into their art, yeah, man, that's universe, that's God, that's creation, that's love in its purest form. So that's one of the first steps right? Or the first avenues and venues on your way to realizing that you are high-end God and spiritual, because you're channeling your creative abilities and your gifts, right? So this said, when you follow your heart and you do what you love, you're going to be happy, your heart's going to be happy, and you're going to be healthiest for it, right? So by giving you these placements, these are some fantastic placements across the board to look into for your greatest happiness, as well as the other stuff that I talked about on the lower half of your house is about the self-love spaces, right? Where your physical health is. Your first house is the health of you. Your self-worth is your second house. Your communication, the way you think as a general rule. There's more to this, but I'm just giving you this across the board to give you the biggest guidance right now that they're telling me for you and everybody, to have a general realization of these areas so that you can look into this, to heal these things in you, to heal the metaphysical energy stuff, excuse me, that is going on in you, right, that we're not necessarily able to see. The fourth house is the house of family. Maybe you have some fucking issues from 15 lifetimes ago about being a mother, right, or with your mother, right? So it's causing great health issues, right, that come out in you, right? So these are all different placements, right? So you have your house, your third house is your communication, the way that you think. That's your Mercury, your Gemini house. Your fourth house is the moon. That's the mother of your emotions. Your moon is your master creator energy, right? And your sixth house is Virgo, which is your house of health. Okay, so everything is intertwined and in layers, but here's some basic areas to help you get down to the bottom of your blocks, right? In other words, the things that stop you from truly being happy, and let's say having no self-worth, or not feeling worthy, or the work that you do is never good enough. That would be your second house. That's Taurus, right? But it's also entwined in other houses as well, right? Because the older the soul, the more gifted we are, the more complex the bullshit we got going on, right? And I can look at you, and just as well as you can, or any astrologer can look at a chart and see that there's a lot going on, right? But there's also layers and levels and all different formulas within astrology. You heading out?
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for coming. Let me just see. Thank you, God, for bringing me back to where I was now, please, with all of this. So ultimately, finding, Teresa, the things that you love to do subconsciously and consciously, and starting to instill them, is going to help you make your health even better. There you go. All right, and those are some avenues for you to look at. But we're going to check into, let me know, guys, if you want to do some clearing work in clearing class, or when I say class, I hate the word fucking class. It's like, oh, you got to learn shit. And I'm like, I'm like, I don't want to fucking learn shit. I want to just be in the space, right? Yeah, I'm a little freaky tonight. Okay, so let me just see. So my plan is ultimately we're going to look at a lot of these aspects, and we're going to clear the shit out of us, because if we don't learn how to do it, and we can't do it, or we don't comprehend it, then we can never really grasp it or get to the full complexity if nobody ever teaches us. Because traditional astrologers are amazing in their own right? And they have awesome formulas. But when you mix all that we do with God, with all the formulas of God, including astrology, numerology, and anything and everything metaphysical and earth world, whoa, there's some really incredible stuff here that it behooves us to share with the world, and for our best health and our best dreams and our best lives across the board, because health is everything. It is your best life. Because if you are not happy, right, think about this. Your happiness has to have everything in it. If you're not happy, you don't have your health, you don't have, let's say, all the great things that you would love to have, and you are not happy, you have a problem, because your happiness is your health. And you got to be happy in all ways, not just one way, right? Okay, so there you go, Teresa. Take a look at those avenues. Any questions you have, please ask here. You can also PM me, you guys know, and we can talk about this more in the future with your questions too. And thank you. All right, go ahead. Who's next?
Bailey. She wrote in.
Hi, Bailey. I hope you guys are feeling good. You got that crud shit too. Sorry, go ahead. I know it. We talked. Go ahead.
She wrote in saying, thank you, Miss Lynn and team. My son and I are quickly healing from the same flu stuff going on, doing all the things with your support. It really is helping everyone. Good. Are there any other positive messages from love or our guides for me or my son that will continue to lift us? Sending hugs.
Oh, God, keep being in your heart, Bailey. You and your son are doing fucking incredible. And why is that? Because of love. because you really are in your heart. That little guy is so beautiful. If you can share a pic up here, please do, because he's just so fucking incredible. But it's the love that you guys have. Whew. And the fact that you're such a great mom is incredible, incredible. This is what truly is making you well and him well, not necessarily what I'm doing. What I do helps, sure, but ultimately, it's you. It's your heart. It's what heals everything, the heart. Yeah. So those are the messages. They just want me to tell you, Bailey, you're doing a great job. You're a fantastic mom. Rhett is doing awesome. I got to see Ray Lynn in the picture today, and that was really incredible. I saw that when they were playing. It was just incredible. So thanks for sending me that. Anything else for Bailey with the health? No, they just want me to make sure that you take it easy for you, because you're like all of us, traditional healers, right? What do? It's almost like you can't even help it. You're constantly giving. You have to make the time to rest for you, right? Have to, right? So you're here in this crazy storm as well with us. So it's a good opportunity for you to rest. Pick out some great movies, have your chicken soup, with veggies, right? Just rest. And just make sure that you take that time for you. And that's what they're telling me. Anything else for Belly and Rat? Nope, that you're doing great. Many blessings, girl, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. All right. Next.
Yes. Danielle also asked, she said that when she was young, her grandfather passed away. They never did an autopsy. They think he had a heart attack, but because they never did the autopsy, it was never confirmed, and she's wondering what happened to him.
Well, that's wild that you say that, Danielle, that your grandfather, they say, had a heart attack, but actually what he had is an aneurysm. And before you even finish the sentence, that's what God said to me, universe said to me. Of course, you can't, there's no way to prove that now unless you they do on the science shows, where they dig up the body and then they do all these scientific tests. And even then, you got to say, is this really working? Right? So again, ask God for the God's honest truth and all the factors in earth world, and here will lead you to the truth. If this feels right, then it is so, right? But an aneurysm is part of your cardiovascular system, right? They're all intertwined and connected. And why an aneurysm? Because your grandfather, and this is a propensity, in other words, an energy in the lineage of your family that has to do with thinking, being in your head, not governed by your heart, making choices with your head versus your heart. You have to have a balance there where your head is in your heart. Do you see? So, and that's what you're working towards, Danielle, and you're doing a great job. Keep on going, girl. And it doesn't mean that what happened to your grandfather is going to happen to you. So don't be starting to think that crazy, okay? I tell you, right? Ask God to clear that out, right? Because I know about that crazy, all right? Anxiety and all that nonsense, right? So you have all the power here, Danielle. You have gifts and tools that your grandfather wasn't aware of, and you have this show and you have all the teachings and you work with me, right? So different way now. So you have the power by working with love or God, not necessarily me, right? I can be part of it, but it's all about you. Talking to God. How do I change this energy? Clear, heal, change this, God. But the best way to be from love in my soul and in all that I am. Release all this emotional stuff that is this toxic in me from love. And the best way for me and all or something better. From love in the purest form. And thank you, God, for that for us. So you start that energy to create that to happen now. Cool shit, right? You got this, Danielle. So now you got the answer. Okay? All right. Thanks. Who's next?
That's all the questions that I got from online, and it's 8:12.
Oh, 8:12. Those are all the questions for tonight. All right, I got a couple more sips of my tea. This fucking 1 hour show goes quick, doesn't it? It's like boom. See, I'm still getting over this crud shit. Okay. That said, we're gonna wrap it up tonight. If there is no more questions, I'm just gonna ask Madeline. Do you have any question for tonight? Anybody else in the audience? My other guy, Steve, he's out. Jennifer?
Well, I was wondering if maybe, I scroll through everybody's comments, and a lot of people talk about colloidal silver and sometimes in the comments. And I was wondering if maybe you wanted to talk about colloidal silver a little bit, or
personally,
I don't know,
I'm not a I've seen that before. For me personally, I'm not a big fan of colloidal silver. A lot of people like it and use it, right? But it's certain for certain people, everything in your health is indicative of you. So what does that mean? Or is governed by the energy of what is best for you. Okay, so for me, colloidal silver, I've used some of it in the past. I didn't feel like it gave me such a bang for my buck across the board as, let's say, some other things like oils, vitamins, minerals, herbs, and different things that I've used throughout my life, guided by God and higher knowing, as well as the metaphysical work, right? But in terms of earth world holistic stuff, if you feel called to it and you like colloidal silver and it works for you and then it resonates with you and it's a good healing tool for you. It doesn't have to always be with what like I agree with, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that it's bad. For me and my energy, I have other lots of other tools, and it's good to have a lot of tools in your arsenal, right? A lot of, let's say, antivirals, you know, like a lot of people like elderberry and vitamin C, and then you could use thieves, right? You can take thieves orally, thieves with thieves essential oil, right? But then also remember the brand name that you get plays a really big role, all right? Because you get what you pay for. You shop at Nordstrom, you get a Nordstrom quality product. You shop at Walmart, not so much, right? You shop at the dollar store, then you're really fucked, okay? If it comes to your health, right? It's great if you need a roll of toilet paper, but then you got to say, well, the toilet paper was 5 cents a roll, and what kind of chemicals are on this? Is this really worth it? Are they making you sick? All right, so these are all things to think about. However, so you have to go with what resonates with you in your heart and what feels good for you. This is why all healthcare and everything on this show may not be for you, right? It's unique to the individual, right? But if you feel it in your heart, you talk to God, you ask, you can check with your doctor. In fact, I advise it so you feel comfortable about it and do your own research, right? So if I tell you something on this show, it is specifically for you. Just like when I said, oh, Wendy has this, and then other people say, well, I got that kind of flu thing going on. And I said, this will help for you guys too. It's a similar thing, but it's not because I just fucking thought of that. It's because God or universe or love guides me to share that and tell you that, because it would not be told through me if it was not truth of God or love. God's honest truth is what I teach. So if somebody who takes colloidal silver gets on and say, I love colloidal silver, I may tell them there's something better for them. I may not. You know what I mean? I'll say, if you love it and it works for you, then great. But if you want some other tools, I can give you those as well. Because sometimes you might need something different or something better. Or you just may need a change. Why? Because just like when we take things over and over in our lives, and just like everything that is health, we're always changing. We have different stress levels. We have different physical ailments as well, right? Depending on our propensity of what's going to come out of our energetic timeline of the energy that is our souls, right? That is in our family lineage, but is in our souls as well. Whatever's going to come out at any given time, we're going to need different tools all along the way, holistic and metaphysical, to help us to be well. This is all why we're doing this show, right? But we're going to need all of those things, and sometimes it's going to be different. And sometimes certain things will work for certain viral things, and certain things will not, all right? And you have to, and this is why it's best to have, you don't have to do anything, of course, but it is best to have different tools. I like the number 5. 5 is active earth world, right? I like to have at least 5 different things that I can use to combat and work with across the board to bring me to my best health. Another way that you can use, vitamin C. A lot of people who are super high and spiritual can't take traditional vitamin C. They have to take modified versions of it, or one of the best things that they can do is actually by eating the fruit. Let's say oranges, tangerines, that kind of thing, right? Because taking the traditional earth world bottles of vitamin C won't affect them, and that happens with me all the time. I'll take like lots and lots of vitamin C, but it doesn't have the same effect. And my mother's always like, you need to take more vitamin C whenever I get sick. And I'm like, Mom, it may work better for you than it does for me, and that's okay. We're different. But because of that, I may want different tools. It's the same thing with the colloidal silver. It might not resonate with me. It might be great for a pet of mine or a friend of mine. But if you feel called to it, then it's a great tool for you and to have in your arsenal. Okay? So is that the answer? And then, of course, there's some really good brand names, like we talked about Walmart and we talked about Nordstrom, right? The better the quality product, the better your health is going to be across the board. It's that simple, right? So there are companies that are known and that God guides me or universe guides me to for higher vibrational healing energy that is in these tools, all right? A better quality product, okay? So some of the companies that I like, two that are my favorite are Young Living and doTERRA for essential oils, okay? And you can pick either one of those. Universe tells me Young Living, and it's a very close thing. Or the other thing that you can do is if you know somebody who is high-end spiritual, right? Like when you come to my shopping center, everything's infused with love and light and high-end Christ energy, right? A lot of people might not believe it. I don't give a fuck. But the truth is that, right? You come in, you buy those products for the purpose of that energy and those gifts and those tools. And this is all what we do and teach, right? So the higher the vibration of the product, the better tool it's going to be to help you heal you or to assist you in any way, shape, or form, right? So Young Living is a good quality product. Doesn't mean I like their customer service. In fact, I rip my hair out and stab myself in the eyes with forks sometimes when I have to deal with their fucking people on the phone. Ask Rachel. It takes me 45 minutes to get a 2-minute order because they don't teach their people English or they don't have any kind of communication skills. It's a fucking mess and they don't. Anyways, let's move on. Okay? But the bottom line is I don't go there for their customer service. I go to Young Living to get the products, but you can also buy them through me or through other people, through our shopping center. Okay? But I go to those products because God guides me to go to them. All right? And universe guides me. But I can always pray that I don't have the same fucking problems with them. I don't know why I didn't think of this before, right? To clear, heal, and change all that so I don't have to deal with the bullshit that goes on when I'm trying to order. Because an order that should take 5 minutes here in Earth World now takes like 45 to an hour and 15 minutes, and then I'm like, holy shit, and then I get crazy with it, and then I have to pray on this, right, and ask God to clear it and heal it and change it and done. Thank you, God, for that for me, right? Totally. So that said, those are two really good stuff. Brand names and oils that you can use that I recommend that you use. There is also some other companies that I've really liked in the past, right, that I've learned through the years of working with shamans when you order vitamins, minerals, herbs, and different things. There's a company that I like in North Carolina for Chinese herbs for those of you who are interested. There are also some local people that I use around here who grow the herbs themselves as well. All right, so you want to go with higher vibrational people for products as well. Somebody's like blowing it up. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And then the other thing that I want to tell you about is I like the company Nature Sunshine. They also have really good quality products, right? So these are some good companies that you guys can look into where you're getting a good quality product, right? And you ask God, love, universe, what the best product is for you, whether it be Colloidal Silver or the best brand name as well, okay? All right, and that said, just like Highlands is a company that makes the salts, but I also have two other companies, one that does the sprays, right? Annie's, I love them, and they're spray ones, right? Depending on what you're looking for in the health stuff that you're going through. Also, there's some other companies that make the 12-pack of the cell salts as well, right? And so, all of this said, these are great tools for you into the future, and I know we're running late. Like I said, we're going to try to keep this show about an hour. Bring your questions for next week. Every week there'll be really cool shit to learn and to utilize to have your best health and your best life for you and your family and get the God's honest truth. Okay, that said, I think we're good for tonight, right? Any other questions? Did I answer them all?
You got them all.
All right. Thank you, God, for this wisdom. I'm super, super, super grateful for all of my people and everything, all of our gifts and everything. And thank you. And thank you guys all for coming. And I'm tired, I hate it. I go on the fucking YouTubes and shit and internet and all, and people are like, oh, all you hear is fucking donation and all this garbage and bullshit. No. Right? So I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Please, if you want to support us, do donate, share our shit, tell people about us. The more we do this, the more we move away and move forward in really great health care into the future, as well as our best well-being and happiness, and change the world. This is all part of that. All right? Follow your heart. Talk to God all the time. Ask love. God is love. Ask love for everything you need. Thanks God for that for me. All right, have the best night. See you next time. I don't know how to shut this off. My phone's kind of crazy. All right. See you on Sunday, 7:15, live talk forum.